I call the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. Please stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Check your minds, students.
Lesson.
High school roofing contract.
Yes, thank you so much. So you have information shared with you. So yeah, we are getting to the point with these, the projects. Thank you to our community for the levy and the capital levy approval, because we are now getting ready to launch many of these projects. And the one that is, probably the most expensive one is the high school roof.
Yeah.
So the ask is that you approve the contract for Carlson Roofing, and Les and Jessica are here to answer any questions you might have about this decision and the process. So I'm wondering if you have any questions.
I looked it over and everything. I mean, it doesn't, I don't know about roofs, but it looks good. And
yeah, I did note that the metal was out of price, so
Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I think expected. So
When we had talked about that, I think a few board meetings ago, just about what's unknown with the cost of materials and supplies and actually the labor. And so I think we're seeing that as an example of had an impact on metal. And actually the entire project and our project. So we're excited again to be moving forward with this particular item, not only because it's needed, but because we are concerned about continued prices going up. So we have a later on, we have a presentation on the capital project. So a slide dedicated to the roof as well. So again, if you have any other questions about them, thank you for the recognition of the seeing that. It's clearly what we had talked about initially was metal, and and then looking at a different ratio of metal to shingles, and it didn't make sense when we got down to it. That having just a little bit of metal, there was a couple things on how they transition, and then just intentionally the look of it, and then what are some of the challenges with having two different products on the room. And Jessica and Les could add, if you want to add any context to that. Okay.
and then I did see they're gonna try and do it in 1 year.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's work with the high school and got a window of certain sections in the school that won't disrupt the kids' last few weeks of actual weeks.
Oh, wow.
Earlier in school getting out and potentially going a little bit to September. They're very mindful about where they are not to disrupt the students.
what's the warranty on this? I didn't see it in there. I might not have looked hard enough either. Do we know that? How long the roof's supposed to last?
I believe it's 20 years.
Okay.
And what was the specifications? I can confirm that.
So we'll confirm that, but I think it's 20 years.
I thought that's maybe what they said originally. I just okay. All right, guys. Any more questions? All right. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. On to citizen comment. I don't think we have any tonight. All right, we're on to our work session. Student representatives.
Yeah, so we have Grace and Riley here. Thank you for being here. Two seniors who we are a week into May, which means right around the corner is June and June 14th when they graduate. I'm not sure if you're aware that that's your graduation date. Okay, so thanks for being here. I asked them to share what are they celebrating, what's been going really well, what do they have to look forward to in the next few weeks, and then what are some challenges. So the last time I saw Grace was Saturday night at the high school musical. And so I'm not just making this up, this has really happened. So afterwards, the performance, all the individuals participating go to an area where they can be greeted and loved on by their family and friends, and they did such an amazing job. And so I said to Grace, it was just unbelievable. So you were so good. And she said, hey, do we have a meeting on Tuesday? Do we have, right? And she's like, it's sweating. You know, like it was just like, it was this workout. And it was just like, yes, Grace, we do have that's right. Prioritize. What's important is, yeah.
A lot going on.
Yes, I know. That
I'm
just,
a busy person.
you're a very busy person, yeah, very organized, but appreciate that. And I will say, seeing lots of performances in that theater under Kelly's leadership. And I was so impressed with just the performance and Marcus Bennett, who was a graduate who had a lot to do with the technology and some new innovative features that he had told me in advance. This is gonna be so cool. You're gonna love this. That isn't something that's happening really anywhere. That's happening
Very
in
cool.
our high school performance. So they will. I'm sure you'll give us some information about that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Students, what's going on? Share with us.
I guess I can start, but yeah, we've got the musical going on, Wizard of Oz. It's definitely, we have a lot smaller of a group of kids than we did last year because we've had more and more seniors graduating each and every year and a lot less kids getting interested early on because like so many kids nowadays, they don't want to do extracurriculars when they're like freshmen and sophomores. So they don't try until junior year and then they're like, oh wait, this is actually fun. So let me do it for my last year. But we've got, I think there's about 30 of us-ish, something like that. A good amount of kids. And we've been working pretty hard. And the first week paid off. And we have 3 more shows this Friday at 7 o'clock and Saturday at 7 o'clock and then Saturday at 2 o'clock, a matinee, I believe. I could be wrong on the time. I just know that I'm supposed to show up. I just got to be there. But yeah, and yeah, Marcus, he's doing like, there's like a GoPro for like that's attached to this machine we have for the Wizard of Oz that like is motion capturing his facial movements and like animating it in a sense. It's really weird and confusing. I don't really know how it works, but it's cool. It looks like a Bitmoji head.
On a giant screen.
Yeah.
That's the Wizard. Not to give too much away, but that's the Wizard.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going pretty good. I recommend going. It's the $12 on GoFan.
So GoFan, I witnessed the beauty of GoFan, the simplicity. Individuals walking in, they already have their tickets. They just walked right by us. And they show their tickets as they go into the theater. They have a reserved seat.
That's
And we can do general seating or reserved seating. This event is reserved seating, but we talked about maybe going with general seating is a little bit easier as far as something with GoFan when your evidence of your seat goes away, then you have to remember what was my seat.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we have to like for individuals we were writing down what seat they were in. But you could, if you didn't buy a ticket in advance, you could buy a ticket there and just use a card.
It's a little QR code. I will say a lot of people were disappointed that it wasn't just cash at the door because that's been how it's been for so many years. But GoFan was pretty easy.
And I there was a little bit of disappointment, but they got over it pretty
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah, we helped them get through it. So yeah, so if you're available and Sadie, you were just saying that maybe after the stride, you
Yeah.
can matinee.
It's 2 hours long though.
Yeah.
It's 15-minute intermission.
I'll be standing out in the rain for the stride. I'll be good to sit and watch for 2 hours.
Yeah, so great. That's what's happening. Riley?
Yeah, so we just had prom a week and a half ago, and that was a super fun experience. We were at a venue that we'd never been at before, but since prom, things have been able to calm down a little bit, like at the school, because the buildup is so crazy. And we're getting through AP testing right now. So kind of after that, school's definitely going to slow down for like a lot of kids, but at least from ASB, we're trying to kind of get some fun events happening during the school day and not during the school day to kind of keep kids still like engaged and kind of having a desire to be at school. Cause like, say you're done with your tests and then you just have like easy classes, like, oh, why do I even go to school? So we're kind of trying to do that to kind of keep the energy up because, the last month and a half can be a little tough. But we're trying to make the best of it and have a good time.
AP testing is 2 weeks and that's happening in the classrooms or is it happening in the
It's right now it's in the wrestling room.
auxiliary
They
space?
just- it's usually in like a more private room and then it's run by Miss Andriotti.
Miss Andriotti, assistant principal, is running. So AP testing is 2 weeks. It's going to finish this week and then they're going to start science, so state testing. And so the next couple of weeks, it's going to be a lot of testing and the testing is really important. So I'm sure everyone's doing the best they can.
Yep.
Yeah. That's great. Have you taken an AP test?
Yeah, I just had AP Calculus yesterday, and then last week I had government and politics.
How'd it go?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so that's what's happening. How about tennis? Is it over as far as
Yeah,
the season?
tennis ended, at least for me, last week, but we do have one tennis member that is projected to make it to state, and she's a singles player, so yeah.
Good, okay. Grace, you want to add anything about prom?
It was really fun. I will say, yeah, the venue was really nice this year because usually it's like all crammed into one space. So the food stuff is right next to the loud booming music. So you can't really talk to people, but it was like they had a little barn for dancing and then a little tent area just for treats and like to chill. So it was nice to be able to bounce back and forth and not constantly be in the big sweaty room with all the people. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's something that's happening. What are you looking forward to the next couple weeks?
Graduation.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to graduation, but it kind of is bittersweet just because I've become so used to, especially my high school experience, because I've gotten involved in so many different things. So I'm kind of also looking forward to embracing kind of those last moments and those last kind of memories, at least at school. Like I know I'll have the summer, but there's only so many more things that are going to happen again. So kind of just trying to enjoy every day and make the best of it. And, I'm excited to graduate because, it's been a crazy 4 years, but, we made it. So
A little reminder of what your plans are after graduation.
yeah.
Not July and August, but after that.
Yeah. I'm going to be attending Westmont College in the fall down in Santa Barbara, and I'm going to major in mathematics. And then after I get my degree, I'm going to get a master's in teaching.
And start teaching now.
Yep, exactly.
Great.
Awesome.
Grace?
I'm going to Brigham Young University in Provo. I was actually, while we were waiting, I was looking at my registered classes. So fun. It's exciting, but definitely like bouncing back to the last things. Like we've got our last ASL show for theater. We do a thing at the very end of the year called Phony Tonys, where it's pretty much we put on a fake Tony Awards and we just give awards to like all the different stuff we've done throughout the year. So definitely it's weird. It's like Riley said, it's really bittersweet, but it's also nice how things like come to a close and like that chapter kind of ends and then you move on, because I'm excited to get to Utah and make new friends and try new things and hopefully get into the acting DFA program if they like me. Because there's a lot of rounds of auditions and things like that. So we'll see.
Good. Okay. Any challenges you want to share with the board?
I think it's just finishing strong because it's kind of easy to just be like, oh, I want to check out. But I mean, it's not over and there's no point in wasting a month and a half of like a super fun time of our life just trying to get to the next step. So I guess that, and just for honestly all students, because it's I've noticed in the past years, like you hit the end of May and kids are kind of just done with school and not really wanting to go as often, and the weather's nicer and you just want to be outside. So just finishing strong.
Mhm.
Say also definitely the senioritis is getting to me, even though my mom refuses to let me skip school. So I have great attendance, but definitely don't want to be there sometimes. But it's hard to like be in school for 6 hours when you know it's like nice outside and you're like, I just want my vitamin D and I need a break from the classroom.
Okay. Any questions for our student reps?
No, we're excited for graduation too.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Exciting.
so our next board meeting will be during that graduation week, and we're hoping you can attend so we can recognize your role with us and appreciation. So hopefully you can be there for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank you.
participating.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank
Okay. Yeah, on your way out, grab a cookie.
Another
Thank you.
cookie.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, we are on to our board and superintendent updates. Great. Chuck, you want to start tonight?
Update. We've been talking about the Wizard of Oz, and there's another performance going to go on tomorrow evening at Jump to Guard Middle School. All of our band students, high school, middle school, and all 3, 4, 5 elementaries. Anyway, it's tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at Jump to Guard, and it's kind of fun to see these little guys who are someday going to be big guys and doing such a good job.
Yes.
Great.
Jane.
Not much on my end, the stride, which I love the shirt, stride this week, so me and the family are looking forward to going to that and seeing all the friends that we've seen for the past, I don't even know how many years. But really looking forward to it and appreciative of all the volunteers that helped put that on. This is an event we only participated, but we're very grateful to the volunteer team.
I definitely got anything.
So Teacher Appreciation Week as a parent, it was really nice to get notice to try and generate feedback from
Yeah.
parents and families. So that was cool. And there's something else, but I can't remember. In my other work today, I attended an estuary conference and I heard about this restoration project that's going on in Gibbons Creek.
Mhm.
So it just made me really appreciate where we are. And Camping Creek, which goes into Gibbons,
Yeah.
like the kids have to cross it
Yeah.
to go to Jump to Guard and CRGE. So it was just really cool to hear about that project, and it's like right in our backyard. So I'm gonna try and learn more about that in my work. And anyway, it was just really cool, and it's a partnership with the city of Washougal as well. So any rate, that's it.
Thank you.
Keep us posted on that.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
it was the first time I'd heard about it, so I'm gonna learn more.
Obviously I'm promoting the stride. Super excited. It might be a little rainy. Bring an umbrella. If you still want an amazing bright yellow shirt, you can still volunteer. And my son will be participating as a sixth grader as a percussionist at
Mhm.
that tomorrow night. So he's pretty excited about that. Teacher appreciation. I got to help at JMS and they have a new staff room that we got to use this time. And the teachers were so grateful. I went there today to work at the Husky Buck store and multiple teachers, including Mr. Cook, said how grateful the teachers were for everything that we did. And I just love seeing how many volunteers want to help the teachers and to feed them and give them treats and gifts and all the things. It's really cool to see how much our parents and students appreciate the teachers in our district. So that's all I have for tonight.
Great, thank you. Okay, I've got a few things I want to share. Let me just Zoom. Okay, so first thing, as you've mentioned, wait, sorry, that's really not exactly what I want to do. I'm gonna try something else here. Okay, one more time.
I look really bright, don't I?
That was,
You are kind of.
I was like, wow, I look really bright.
hold on.
High vis or yellow, high vis yellow.
Let's see this.
Very high vis.
Okay. So as you mentioned, Teacher Appreciation Week was last week. And one of the things that we did for classified staff and for our certificate staff was a form that we sent out that I think you received and were mentioning. And so I think we did that last year for our teachers that went out to families. So I think there was almost 360 entries. And so we appreciate those that reached out and shared appreciation, gratitude for the work that our teachers do during the week. It's interesting that we choose this week that is identified. Our teachers do such a good job, and it's so important to our students and to our families and to the district. So we appreciate there's this opportunity to just share our gratitude for what they do. And a number of us, district office, shared appreciation using that form, and I've shared this before. What I appreciate, and I kind of forget going into it, that when you share gratitude, individuals, that receive it typically say thank you, thank you, and reach out in an email or a person and just say we really appreciate you recognizing the good work. So anyway, always look forward to it, and so we have something for our teachers that are here that are part of the WA leadership team, and so that'll be after this. Okay, so that's the next thing. So much good things to share. You have in front of you, you do have these the slides hopefully to access. So every year, our schools are rated basically using the improvement framework. We talked about it this fall, gave you specific information on the categories. So we had 3 schools that were recognized, will receive recognition, not only published, which we have, that was, I think, shared May 6th, but also in their buildings will be large posters that we can put up. So banners that we put up. And so we have Columbia River Gorge, the category is closing gaps, GAUS, closing gaps targeted in growth for students. Next slide has some specific information about those categories, and then Hathaway for growth for students receiving special services. So the good work that we're doing and this was for 23-24. So, we find out now for 23-24, but they've improved it. I think it used to be, it was like a year and a half after the fact, but so we're getting closer to, the year that we're celebrating. We're looking forward to next year and more improvement. So good job to those teams, the good work by our principals in leading that. And then what happens in the classroom is what really makes a difference. So here's just some information you have for specific information about the recognition for them and what categories. So recently we completed this program review that OSBI does, and every school district does not go through this every year, but they go through it about every 3 to 5 years, 5 to 7 years. So Tracy led this work. So it was in the summer, I think, that we found out, hey, you are up. Look at you. We are so excited. It's a full program review. And we're like, oh, wow. Is this really us? Is it really our turn? Because it's been a while. I remember Marion facilitated this process several years ago. So Tracy organized the team and included Margaret, included a number of people who oversee programs, specific information, evidence that they're asking for. So Tracy did a great job. Thank you, Tracy. Anytime you're going through an audit, right? And just people are the programs that you're responsible for, and when they're looking for specific information. And so, and it went very well. The reviews were very positive. I think that something that was noted was just our level of cooperation. And so Tracy, from the very beginning, said, how do you do? And we want to work closely with you. And she made herself available. Anytime there was a question, she, again, found the information. So thank you, Tracy, for that. It's a big deal to have a positive review and the fully implemented and exemplary determinations. Like that's what we want. And again, no action plan required. So, I guess we get to look to do this in 5 to 7 more years. So it's, but it's a team effort, and that includes OSBI. So they were actually very easy to work with. So we want to celebrate Will Bauer, who's one of our science teachers at the high school. So I think you had seen this probably earlier, that Will was recognized as one of 5 in the state for the Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics and Science. So yeah, we're very excited for Will and for us to get this recognition. And so Will does a really good job with as a science teacher specifically. I think he goes out and in his kind of a summary on him, talks about some of the projects that he does, and he connects our kids to real world issues. And so, we talked about the strategic plans, like hands-on activities, and it isn't always just like hands-on. It's the idea of engaging in the learning that's a real world solution focused. And so Will brings in guest speakers, and he connects with individuals who can share important information with our students, like that are in the field doing this work. So really appreciate Will, this recognition, and looking forward to see how he does. Now it's going to be a while till we find out.
So when do we get to find out?
Yeah, so I think it's actually, I think it's several weeks.
Okay.
And so yeah, once I know more, I'll let you know. But just proud of Will and the science team and the high school staff, and just appreciate him being a part of our team. So this is going to be an article, I think, in the near future. Les is putting together. So 2nd grade class at CRG, Mrs. Wilsden's class, she wrote a grant. It was for a $400 grant through the Washington State School Retirees Association. So there were a number of our staff who completed the application and received scholarships or awards through this. I know I filled it out and they said, we don't give them to superintendents. So I got over it, but it took me a couple of weeks when he told me that. But he's an individual that I spoke to was an assistant superintendent several years ago for OSBI, and now is doing this work. And so really proud of Mrs. Wilsden. And I happened to I had a chance to read to this class. So these faces, these happy faces holding up their Time magazine, I got to read to. And so just a wonderful class and looking forward to that article that's going to be hopefully in the paper. So, there's really good things happening in the Washougal School District. And this is one, and we're highlighting reading, the importance of reading today. We had a recognition event, and we had a number of volunteers, a part of the Read Northwest program. So that are reading mentors or buddies for first and second graders. So we are stressing and prioritizing reading. And you're one of them, aren't you, Jane?
Right.
You are a reading buddy. For 2 students?
Yeah, 2 kiddos this year.
Yeah, nice.
I would recommend.
Yes,
Totally self-serving. It's the
It's
most
great.
fun thing ever.
I agree. Yes. Okay, so we have Mrs. Yang, who's an art teacher at Cape Horn Sky and Canyon Creek Middle School. So this was a project that she facilitated. And Les, did you take this picture or did someone else take it? You did. Nice work. So I think hopefully this will be another article that's in the paper. This is in a K-8 building, which again, we have 2 schools, but it's one roof over these 2 schools. And there's a lot of collaboration that happens between the 2 principals, I think between teachers, and we team elementary student with middle school student. So here we have elementary student who's a kindergartner, is a TK? Kindergarten. And so he drew this picture, and then the middle school student, Haley, she designed it, right? So here it is, it's stuffy. And so the kindergarten student gets to see this idea that he had, right, in real life in a 3D model. So
That is so cool.
really cool. So thank you, Alice Yang. She's amazing. Yeah. So the more we can have that collaboration, I think for an elementary student to work with a middle school student, or middle school student to work with a high school student, that's a big deal. And so we want to provide as many opportunities as we can. Okay, so we had Riley was here, and next year's president of ASB, the leadership class, is Mackenzie. And so I just want to share with you that both Mackenzie and Riley are going to be presenting at the Renaissance Conference that's going to be, I think it's in San Diego. And so the high school has worked with the Renaissance for a number of years, and it's around culture. It's Jostens. This is their program that helps high schools specifically develop a welcoming, energizing, engaging culture where teachers love where they work and students love to come to school. And so really looking forward to hearing how the presentation goes. So Mackenzie, again, who's going to be the president for ASB, she is like one of the keynotes. She's the student keynote.
That's great.
So she is working closely with the Jostens Renaissance Global Conference individuals, folks that are like working with her presentation. And so it's going to be, I'm sure there'll be a video that we can share in August to just show you like how it went. So really appreciate her interest in this, Kyla's leadership, because it's because of Kyla that our students are getting exposure to this program, and then Mark's participation as well as the principal. So yeah, but this is a link, this little video, but I'm not going to play the video, but I can share with you so you can check it out. So this is a pretty cool event that's really ongoing. It's coordination with David Duarte, who's our music teacher at the high school, and Songcraft Foundation. So this individual is Christopher Corbell is a Washougal resident. So they go in and they work closely with our students. And so our students in choir and in band, I think mainly choir, are getting this exposure to professional artists. And so this is a partnership that exists because of community members reaching out to us and saying, hey, we want to we want to get into your school. Can you help us get into the school? So this particular situation was pretty easy just to connect with the principal and getting the principal to have a meeting with Kelly Gregerson, David Duarte. And so now I don't know how often this happens. Hopefully this will continue. Songcraft there's a lot of resources here that they looked at our auditorium and how can we make some improvements with auditorium. So I think more really cool opportunities for our students to come. So thanks for that partnership. And then the last item is our strategic plan update. So this was actually, it's not the last one. I got several more. So
It's like, wait.
Yeah,
wait,
wow.
two more.
so this was at GAUS. We were GAUS. This was last week. This was our second meeting. We added a few folks to the team. And so this was, you see Les facilitating. Les is an excellent facilitator. He's been through this a number of times. He's very reflective. So after the fact, we debrief, how did it go? What are some things we work on? So the next time, if we made a mistake, we will make that mistake again. We want to add something that we typically do. So we have groups, very collaborative, appreciate the discussion. Thank you, Sadie and Chuck, for being there. And so the next meeting will be back at Excelsior, but we're excited about the progress.
Yeah.
And so even though it's actually messy and there's sometimes some challenging different kind of discussions, trying to figure out what's the best direction to go, people have different perspectives. So it's all very civil, very respectful, appreciate that we don't all think alike. And so we have a group of individuals that I think represent the community. But again, we don't all think alike. So we're working through, we really want to narrow our focus. Because if you have too many things you're trying to do, you're really not going to do any of them very well. So we're going to try to narrow our focus. And so we all did agree to that, which was great. So looking forward to the next meeting.
I think Les has missed his calling as a teacher.
Oh, I think he knows. Yeah.
Seriously.
He does teaching. He actually, he teaches us all the time.
Seriously.
And has led different times in the 25 plus years he's been here, led professional development.
Just saying.
Yes. So we have this really amazing partnership with the Washougal Arts and Cultural Alliance. And so this most recent example was this push for art supplies. There are some challenges with our financial challenges, and so maybe the budgets aren't as big as we'd like them to be. So the ask from the Alliance was, what are some things the art teachers need? And this process was followed. And this last week, the items were delivered. I happened to be at Cape Horn Sky that one of the days that they were delivered and said, Alice, can I get a picture of you with the supplies? She said, of course. So here we have the art supplies that she received. So thank you to the Alliance for this great idea. And so now our teachers have various supplies that they can use for our students. And when I was there were probably 20 plus students. And there were probably 8 or 9 different things that were happening. So there was a lot of choice for our students and what they were making, what they were creating. So the same day I was up there, on the right is Sheriff Shire, so Summer Shire, who is the Skamania County Sheriff. So I saw her at an event earlier in the fall. I said, hey, this is who I am. I would really like to meet with you, but I'd like to meet with you at Cape and Canyon. And I'd like to connect you to our principals. So we scheduled the meeting. Unfortunately, Mr. Healy couldn't be there, but Brooke Healy could. And I took this picture outside because I was late because the River Road, there was an accident. I had to go up and around. I was like 15 minutes late. And she's walking out. I was walking in. So we had this brief interaction. They are going to plan visits to Cape and Canyon. So instead of it being just drop by when you want to, she said, that's not going to work. We need to organize it because it needs to be on our calendar because it's important. So she's really excited about this. The bottom left picture, that's Elliot Juarez. And Elliot was a graduate from Washougal High School who now works for the Clark County Sheriff's Office. So his mom happened to be up there as a sub. She was a longtime Washougal employee. And she said, hey, I'm so proud of Elliot. Did you know? I said, no, I didn't know. And so then I looked it up and saw this picture, so I want to share. So as a former, so I was as an educator a long time, an educator. I knew Elliot, worked with him, and they were really proud of Elliot and what he's doing. Final thing is this Saturday, the big event, the Stride. So if you haven't signed up, you still can sign up, but you probably won't get a shirt, right? Is that right?
Unless you volunteer.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh,
I
you
think
are?
we're doing okay, yeah.
Oh, you can't. So my daughter's signing
May not
up
be the
late,
perfect
so she can get a
size,
shirt. Okay,
yeah.
good. That's really what she wants, the shirt.
I mean,
So
they're pretty cool.
they're really cool. Yeah, so she saw mine. She's like, oh my gosh.
Well,
Okay.
now, Babies is super cool, but this is what the runners get.
Yeah, the
Perfect.
black ones are.
Yeah, okay, so glad to know that that is, if you want to volunteer.
You get yellow.
Yellow, if you don't
You
want to
run.
volunteer and you run. So yeah, so many of us will be there. An amazing opportunity. Hope to see you there.
Yeah.
Yes,
Aaron will be there with his cowbell.
I will. Your cowbell you gave me, yes, make lots of noise. Okay, so we're ready to go to the next item.
Yes, all right, now we are on to our certified appreciation.
Yes, so we have a number of our WAE leadership team are here. So Rebecca, Shelley, and Jay, can you come over here and join me? So yes, it was last week, but we didn't have a board meeting last week.
We did
So thank you for being here. We appreciate your efforts. So they're part of the WAE leadership team. And so I know that monthly, Jay and Leslie, and I'm not sure if Rebecca and Shelley join those meetings, but they meet with Connor here and the team and Tracy and some of our principals. They meet monthly. Jay, every time I call, he answers. Or if he doesn't answer, he calls me tonight. But he'll call me back. So we have this really good relationship. And their efforts are super important for our children. Clearly, they work very hard. I believe that you support them well, and we appreciate your support for our teachers, but they are responsible for all the learning that happens. And so we appreciate your work. So we have just some little gifts for you. So I have names on, so show me. There's yours. There's yours. And so that's Leslie's. Michelle's. Yeah, would you? Okay. Yeah, so thanks for being here tonight. Again, yeah, last week, it sounds like in some of the buildings, you were somewhat spoiled, they get treated pretty well. So, yes.
Food is the way to spoil, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Boosters asked us what we wanted, and we have a staff room also, much like what you did at Jump to Guard, where it still looked like a classroom.
Yeah.
They did a tremendous job of turning it to look less like a classroom and more like a space to relax.
I love
This
that.
year, all
Really
of our
appreciative.
spaces have really
Yeah.
upgraded, so it's been
Yeah.
much appreciated.
Yeah, so Margaret's, work with the wellness team and specifically at Jump to Guard this year was like one of the last ones. God's was last year. Yeah, but it is, the point is it's a wellness space.
Yeah.
And also, I
Comfortable.
think there's some things that are in there that are,
This is the last one.
the last one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you guys need something
Yeah,
too.
so thank you for your work and for your leadership and just doing what you do every single day and supporting our students.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want to say, I really love the shout outs from the parents. Those were really lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Les did publish some of those.
Yeah.
On our website.
All the comments are appreciated, but the ones from the community, the parents, especially.
Yeah. I saw a lot of teachers posting their comments like on Facebook and stuff like,
right.
oh, look at these, what, my
Yeah.
parents are saying. And I think that
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. And we are on to capital projects update.
Yes, so Les and Jessica are gonna come up and you have the presentation, you have slides of the presentation. Les will be publishing them so we can see them online. We are very excited. We are, Steve, you had mentioned it, like we're starting to get to the point where these projects are actually gonna be started.
Yeah.
And then just around the corner, they'll be completed. Yeah, so we have updates on all the projects that we've been discussing.
I'm Les Brown, I'm the Communications Technology, sorry, Communications Technology and Operations Director. I keep adding words to it, and I forgot. I hear Aaron say it like 15 different ways, so anyway, thank you with my ability to say my own title. So.
I'm Jessica Diener. I've short mine, it's facility supervisor, but there's a lot behind it too.
So we're gonna go through this the same way we have with the board the last couple of times. So we grouped the projects according to the type of work that they are. And we'll take turns kind of talking about each of them.
So the first one, I believe, well, the last meeting, two weeks ago, I think, the board approved the purchase of the boiler. So we have successfully placed that order, have confirmation. It'll be showing up the week in July that we want it to, without pushing it another week or two. We were going to start running into delays in delivery or price increases. So we were very thankful to get that approved and moving forward. We received bids today that we're working on reviewing for the companies that will install those bids. We had a good turnout at the job walk. We did have 3 bids come in this afternoon, so it was nice to have some options there. And then the HVAC control or the DDC project, there's behind the scene work that is kind of happening now, getting material ordered and ready to go for that project, but that team should be ready to start basically June 18th. So
So projects 3 and 4 are the security door systems and the ADA door operators, and that's at Washougal High School, Keepin Canyon, and Gauze. So we're under contract with GD Manchester, which is the company that installed security systems and the ADA doors at JMS CRG 8 years ago. So we're very familiar with them as a vendor. We're excited to get this work going. So we'll replace the Sonatrol system those little red stop sign symbols that aren't actually the ones here is covered up by the thing on the door. But on the outside of all of our buildings, they have those things. We're switching vendors to another product. We're excited about some of the things that the project will bring, which is the ability for us to have one set of badges and systems for people to access our buildings. So over the course of the next couple of months, as we finish this set of projects, all of the schools will be on the same system. And then this fall, we'll do one for this campus to bring the last of these 3 buildings. So this building, the maintenance building, and the transportation building into that same system. So the ultimate goal is for people to have one badge. It works at any of the schools that they're supposed to have access to. And that the staff maintaining it just have one.
everybody doesn't have this.
Yes. Currently you have 2, and then one of them, you have to keep them separate. You can't have them on the same lanyard because they interfere with each other.
And you have to explain this to contractors who are coming in to do district-wide testing, like, hey, separate these when you go to this building, use this one, and if it doesn't work, try the other one, but keep them apart, so.
Yeah, so we met with the vendor today, kind of going through the kind of the behind the scenes things. They're going to take advantage of the non-student day that's happening next Friday. So as a reminder, that's one of the snow makeup days, which I think somebody was commenting, it feels like it's been 10 years since we've got a snow makeup day that we didn't
My kid
use.
says like it today.
Like we have one, like that actually does
Day
happen
off.
every once in a while. The vendor is going to take advantage of the 23rd being a non-student day, and they're going to start doing some of the wiring that's, not something that's easy to do when students are in the building. And then because we're trying to accomplish a lot this summer, they are also going to be working swing shifts. So they'll start work after school each day at various sites, and they'll be working kind of up to the end of school to try to get some of the pre-work done that they can accomplish. And then once the schools are closed, they'll work on some of the things that are a little more disruptive. But we're very excited to get that project going. So just a few minutes ago, kind of hot off the press, the board approved the contract with the roof. This is the roofing material that we're planning on using.
This is my van.
As it gets closer, very few people will be this close to the roof. Right? So because it's way up on it does have a little bit of like flex of, and we're going to say, like kind of a brick color or maybe an orange color, like a Washougal shade. We think that'll go really well with the paint on the exterior of the building. So as a reminder, Washougal High School has, kind of a reddish brick trim as well as red siding on parts of the building. I think this will kind of match really nicely with that. We did look at a variety of colors. We decided against one that was kind of an all black one. Although the current high school roof does not look black, it started out that way. So somebody who was here 25 years ago, it was black. And unfortunately, one of the big problems with having something, it is a very sharp looking thing when you first install it. It fades over time. And then every time you do a repair, you can see exactly where you did repairs.
Oh, yeah.
Because the new ones are the actual color that they used to be.
Yes.
So, anybody who drives by Washougal High School can help identify those problem areas up on the roof because you can see exactly where we patched various places along the way. And as we shared with the board, kind of through the board contract process, the metal options for the roof, and we had talked about that 2 weeks ago, as well as 2 weeks before that, and a couple of weeks before that. It became clear throughout this process that the costs were escalating really rapidly this spring, and that metal roofing became unaffordable. We were very fortunate with Aaron's leadership that we added an option to the bid process to do an all composition shingle roof. As it turns out, that's really the only option that's truly within the project budget. And every other one of the options is well beyond it. The bids ranged from the 2.1 million, which is what you approved today, up to about 4.3 million. You'll remember that the 4.3 million was doing roughly half of the roof. And so our ballpark number is that it probably would have been north of $6 million to do the entire roof in metal, which was more than all of the projects, or almost more than all of the projects put together. So it was well beyond the capacity that the community gave us when they voted on this back in 2023. So we are excited to have a new roof. It'll last for a significant chunk of time. And hopefully I'll retire before we have to fix it. So I am done talking about the roof.
And to piggyback on that, I pulled up the bid specs and material warranty period is 20 years from the date of substantial completion, non-prorated. So
2045.
Yep.
I hope none of us are here.
It's like, I might even be able to retire by then. Okay, and then the last slide we have is project 6, the flooring replacement at Gauss Hathaway. So that flooring has been ordered. We are now working with the manufacturer / installer, just trying to get the appropriate schedule set up. The carpet will be mainly at this point, mainly in the hallways and the entryways. So we are extending some of the walk-off carpeting, which costs a little bit more money, but if we get all of the gunk off of everybody's shoes, it'll make the rest of the carpet last significantly longer. So we worked with building leadership. Les and I found magic hallways that don't exist in Hathaway. We were able to make some adjustments, get those maps dialed in right before the order got placed. So now we're just working with the installer on trying to decide what that best schedule is so that we can, with all of the projects we have going, the custodial team needs to get through and clean the building. So just what order that all works in, but hopefully the next week or two we'll have that pinned down and be ready to go.
So how does that work? Like if you guys are just doing the hallways, did you guys do it to match the carpet in the well enough to where it's not like, wow, brand new carpet?
It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be jarring. So like in here, this carpet is different than the hallway carpet.
Okay.
If you go look at the doorway, you can see that this carpet is kind of a like greenish gray, and the one in the hallway is a more bluish, purplish, shade, right?
Right.
But they'll do stuff like that to make them kind of look harmonious. And kind of depending on how the budget goes with the rest of the Senate projects, we will go back as we have funds available and do some of the smaller areas in each of these buildings, working with both the custodial teams as well as the principals to identify the kind of the worst of the spaces like libraries, classrooms, etc., that need attention. And the librarians, the custodians already have a priority list of places that they know where all the big stands are, right? And so they have that mental list. And we have as part of the Beresford, I can't say that. Beresford contract, we do have a cookie cutter number for what it would cost to do a classroom. And so we can kind of scale that to match whatever funds are left at the end of the rest of the projects to accomplish some of those.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So excited.
Any other questions?
No, it's great.
Pretty thorough.
And we'll be back in 2 weeks for that approval for the boiler installation contract. So after we go through all of that and work with the vendors to kind of make sure everything is where it needs to be, you'll see that in your next board packet.
I think that's our last one.
I think that's the last one, well, except for this site.
Yes.
So we will have one more contract for doing the security systems at this site, maintenance and transportation.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Thank you.
All right. Annual CTE update.
Yes. So as Margaret is getting set up. So yes, so the annual presentation on CTE. So I see you should have hard copies of the presentation or shared with you.
Little minor adjustments, but
Okay.
we don't.
Maybe we don't have.
That's okay. It's okay.
We got it in our board.
Digital, okay, great. So CTE director also overseeing food service, our wellness team. So Margaret is an amazing part of our executive team. I've been with the district for a long time. She had a very engaging presentation. A lot of the highlights that we have shared over the course of this year, experiences you've had, maybe it was part of the toolbox build,
So fun.
is leadership.
So fun.
This little birdhouse here that you can participate in.
I will be
First
doing
week
one
of
of those.
Margaret and her team are assisting with this wonderful birdhouse that our fourth graders will put together. A number of things she's going to talk about that are celebrations. And every one of these celebrations is really about a student or students having an experience that's going to connect them to their future. So Margaret, take it away.
Thank you. Yeah, so no need to introduce myself. Because we have Jane is still little new. I'm just gonna talk a little bit about what makes CTE a little bit unique to other educational programs. So academic standards, district building initiatives, the TPEP with their teacher evaluation, social emotional learning, all those things are the same. Where we kind of get different is that CTE or current technical education programs are aligned to state standards. We align our classes to technical skills and industry standards, as well as safety standards. We also offer work-based learning and career exploration in our classes, leadership skill opportunities, and 21st century or what a lot of people call employability skills. So those all are just like added to classes that are current technical education classes. The other thing is we offer outside of class opportunities, so extended learning opportunities through our CTSOs or our career and technical student leadership organizations, leadership clubs. Our courses are aligned, our programs are aligned to economic growth and development. We have advisory committees with business professionals that help us in determining changes in the industry. We think about like even the education industry has changed so much over, so if we don't have those advisors kind of letting us know what is changing in the field, we're not properly educating our students and we're not getting them ready like we should. We also have annual program evaluations. So every year our programs are evaluated against those state standards, those CTE state standards. And every course that we offer is approved by OSPI. So we don't get to just say, oh, this sounds great, let's offer that. There's an entire process to go through to approve those classes. We also are data driven. So CTE is one of the graduation pathway opportunities for students. Again, work-based learning, we're actually collecting data on that. We just started doing that in the last few years. We offer students industry recognized certifications or credentials, and we collect data on that. And then we also offer dual credit. So students that are in some of our CT classes can earn both high school and college credit. So these are the grad pathways students have available to them. And you can see the one highlighted there is the CTE course sequence. The latest data point, we were kind of laughing about this earlier, is 2023. Thank you, OSPI. We're a little behind, but in 2023, almost 67% of Washougal High School students in the grad cohort met the requirements for CTE grad pathway. When students do that, they have to complete 360 hours or two credits of a CTE class in a concentrated CTE area, and they build, right? So when they take one, they take another one, they take another one. So it's depth of learning and rigor. And those classes have to offer an industry recognized credential and or college credit.
So your students students. Well, this is something they'll be required to do,
Yeah,
is choose this pathway.
we just, well, choose, this is one of the
Yeah,
choices,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and part of their graduation requirements, they need to take one CTE year of CTE. So if they liked what they were doing, and they wanted to keep going, they could do that in a course sequence that would lead to. And that's on top of like the work-based learning opportunities and those things. So I wanted to share some data for you. And this is where I boo-booed on. So I had changed the dates. I had the dates wrong. But anyway, this is the 23 grad cohort versus the 24 grad cohort. We don't have 25 yet.
Yeah.
My bad. But I just wanted you to see a kind of comparison. You also see the numbers, and those are the numbers of students that chose CTE grad pathway, right? So these are our completers, what we used to call completers. They're now our CTE graduates, right? Graduate pathway students. We're working really hard on non-trad. Non-trad is non-traditional, is a distinction that OSPI gives based on the industry pathway. Where they come up with it, I have no idea. But some that are kind of like no-brainers, males in medical, believe it or not, females in culinary, females in welding and construction. So, so those kinds of things. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that we're trying to do to increase that number, but it's constantly on our minds to like try and figure out ways to introduce all students viable pathways, no matter what gender they are. And one of the things that we've worked really hard is the high school and beyond plan, and offering some of the assessments being aptitude assessments. When we really look at the aptitudes versus the interests, it's amazing what you see in terms of where students' interests are, usually are what they're exposed to and what they know. And then you see what you would consider like, yeah, that seems normal. That's what they would do, right? Versus what their actual skills are.
Right.
So it is pretty interesting. So anyway, and we're excited that we hit 100% in our work site learning as well. So that's our work-based learning as well. So let's talk a little bit about work-based learning. The 5 that you see with the colors, those are so these are all the reportable work-based learning opportunities. There's lots and lots, but the state has identified certain ones that we actually report on. These are the reportable ones. The 5 that you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, those are the ones we focus on that align to our programs. We don't have any apprenticeship programs. We don't have true entrepreneurship. We do have school-based enterprises. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And we don't have healthcare clinicals available. We're just too small to do that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our school-based enterprises. Some of these you might recognize. These offer, we've talked about hands-on, it's really an environment where students have the opportunity to actually put their skills to work. They do provide like entrepreneurship operations. These businesses, like they identify, create, and sell products or services that meet the needs of our students. And they do get to figure out what it takes to like operate a small business. So they do things like they participate in market analysis, business planning, product and service marketing, inventory, and so much more. And these are skills that they can use like at home as well as in business and at school and in our community. So they prepare them for their futures. So what you're seeing is Washougal Co. It's our student store. It's open during lunch. Students have the opportunity to buy Panther gear. spirit gear. And then on the other side is the Shoot Shack, which is our food truck. Second semester, we run Food Truck Fridays once a month. And it's part of our National School Lunch Program. So the students actually learn from our executive chef and office manager about the nutrition program so that what they're serving is compliant with the feds, and they develop the recipes and all of that. Just like Washougal Co., those are student designed. They create the designs. They work with a screen printer to actually get them created. Some other things that we do, and another work-based learning data point is our community service learning projects. And so these happen inside and out of the class. So Mr. Hansen talked about the bat boxes and our mason bee houses that were a partnership with the Port of Camas and Washougal for their Earth Day celebration. The toolbox build in partnership with our Careers in Construction. A great picture of Chuck there helping the little fifth grader.
Yeah, the thumb is right in the way, Chuck. It's
Yeah.
The thumb was not very close.
No, but he built that box.
There is a little device that you use to hold a nail. I'm gonna buy some of them for the next one.
Little pinchers.
It's little pinchers, just, yeah,
It's not very industry
mitigate risk.
standard.
Oh, yeah, I guess I won't do that.
The two that you see at the top was everybody goes to Rick's. So every other year, our Skills USA Culinary, which is the after school club, works with drama and our music production, sound engineering. They put on this fabulous dinner theater. This year it was a kind of a 50s theme, and they had a great time. It's a sellout every time. You've got Stuff the Bus and a rock, paper, scissors, which are, extend to community, but also school community. It's part of our ASB leadership class led by Kyla Ritchie. And then you see a bench there. Those are created by our Woods Tech students, and they're given to schools all around. We see a lot of those at the high school. Our ASL showcase shows. There's one coming up here. This will be featuring our seniors. Below you see Mr. Mansell with a few of his Skills USA students who this is the second year that they've built sheds for the Camas Washougal Fire Department for their fire and safety fair. They build them and they burn them down. Can you believe that? But they do it because they are really demonstrating the effectiveness of residential sprinkler systems. So they show like what happens with the sprinkler system and what happens without. So it's really a great educational experience for our community, but also a great way for our students to help give back. Our students HOSA students help put on the blood drive this year. HOSA is the Health Occupations Student Leadership Organization. We've got the Bird House coming up. We've got the Stride coming up. Our Future Business Leaders of America are volunteering. And then that hexagon bench is going to be installed up at Cape on their playground. So we talked, I mentioned Skills USA and FBLA, our Future Business Leaders of America. So FBLA just got back from Bellevue. They had 12 students go to state, 4 placed. Actually 5 placed. I take that back, 5 placed, which is really exciting. And then we had our biggest group since I've been here in Washougal for Skills. That went up to, where were they? Tacoma. And every single student that Mr. Mansell took placed at state. So he is so dedicated to building this that he's traveling to nationals this year to take a look at what that looks like and bring it back so that he can motivate kids to get involved and do a little bit more. So we're really excited about that. And we're also looking forward to skills, baking and pastry potentially competing next year too. When Brenda left, that kind of, we had to take a break and figure it back out again because we had 2 brand new teachers. So we're getting there. They have a very robust club. They just haven't competed yet.
If they need sample tasters.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll definitely let you know.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. At the Stride, the Shoe Shack will be at the Stride.
Yeah,
With creations from our students. So stop by the Shoe Shack.
the only reason I got Cooper to participate in volunteering is because he knew the Shook Shack was gonna be
Okay,
there.
there you go. Whatever motivates. So I talked about recognized, industry recognized certifications or credentials. We offer 30 different industry recognized credentials and working on another one. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. But these are utilized by businesses in all kinds of industries. And what it does is it really gives our students a leg up when they're applying for jobs. It gives them some kind of street cred on their resumes right out of the chute because they have something to offer. And those businesses recognize that they have to have a certain level of knowledge if they've gotten these certifications. So, and then dual credit. So I mentioned earlier that we offer in a lot of our classes, we offer dual credit, and we have partnerships with Spokane Falls Community College for ASL, Lower Columbia Community College for a number of classes, Clark College obviously for a number of classes, and Mount Hood also for ASL. So we have ASL at different levels, being able to gain access to those college credits. I added it up and it's over 100 credits, college credits available to our CTE students, which is pretty great, I think. So future ready. Let's talk about some exciting new things. Let's start with 13th year event that just happened. So this is the 2nd annual. This is also something that Careers in Construction has kind of brought forward under the leadership of John Gerard, who owns Quail Homes. And what this is it's a kind of an extension of the Skills USA students, but it's inviting kind of the best of the best from high schools around Southwest Washington to do what I would kind of equate it to as like a speed networking event where they are meeting a lot of employers. So at this particular event, there were 75 students, but there were 52 employers. And they are going around and they are meeting these employers. There were, the stats are 466 one-on-one interviews scheduled. So obviously some of those students are getting multiple opportunities to talk to different employers. There were 150 educators on site for the event. And so we had 4 students go. Right now, I know Cyrus has a follow-up interview. It's after school ends. And the rest are works in progress. So, so we're hoping that some of our students get actually hired from this event. The other thing is I wrote a couple grants this year. Again, going back to the non-traditional student. And then also looking at our certifications and our need in the community of, of employee skill set. And I was able to purchase a forklift simulator, which is pretty cool. It's being installed on Thursday at the high school. So if you're at the high school sometime after Thursday and you want to come down and see how it works, just
For sure.
let us know and we'll let you drive.
For sure. I
We'll
want
let
to
you
learn
drive.
how to, I really want to learn how to. I'm not gonna lie, that looks really cool.
It is really cool. I've done it I did it. It's pretty fun.
Right,
You like moving
okay.
stuff around, you have to follow the lines. It is complicated. And so it's a great way for students to kind of get their heads wrapped around the controllers and what they're looking for and how to move and dump, right, even. And as part of this, we're gonna do this. It took us a long time to get this simulator. I had hoped that we would get this thing in January. This is how long it's taken. And we're seeing this with our, just like even with the things that we're trying to do for capital projects, how long things are
Yeah.
taking. My intent was to get this installed, have students actually working on the simulator, get some practice time, and then we set up our certification event, but we're gonna go for it. So they may not have any simulator time, but I'm in the process of hiring an outside contractor to come in and certify a group of students. And thanks to Jessica and the maintenance team, they got our forklift ready. It's gonna go to the high school. We'll set up a course. And so they'll take, there's a practicum test, there's learning. Obviously, they're not just gonna throw them in a test, but there's instruction, and then they'll take a written assessment, and then they'll head out into the parking lot, and they will start the practical part. And my hope is that when we're done, I've surveyed companies at the port who are looking for forklift operators. And my hope is to connect some of our newly certified students with employers that are looking for employees with that skill set.
That's so cool.
So this is the best part. It's when I get to talk about some of the students that are CTE completers. You heard from Riley already. She kind of stole my thunder, but it's okay.
She's amazing.
She deserved it, right?
Yeah.
So fantastic representation of somebody who is like taking all their leadership and all the things that they've been doing right, and they're going to apply it back, and yay, circling back around and going to be one of us.
Yeah.
We got Madeline Brine, who has a desire to be a photojournalist. She's heading to Oregon State University to get her bachelor's in digital arts and communications. I have some more notes too, but she actually took digital photo 1 and 2, and she's been on the yearbook for 4 years. She's an editor. She's got lots of experience in knowing what she wants to do. We've got Celisa Peterson Clark, who wants to own a custom bakery, which I think is fabulous. And there's some around here and they're great. She plans on using her college earned credits through her baking, pastry, and intro to culinary class to get a leg up at the program there at Clark. And then it basically leads to an Associates of Arts and Technology, so an AAT in professional baking and pastry arts management, because she does want to be now a business owner as well. And then Gracie wants to be an orthodontist. She fully recognized she has a lot of schooling ahead of her. She is going to go to Clark and utilize her Clark College credits as well to get her some of her prereqs done, and then transfer to WSU to finish her BS degree. And then she plans to go to dental school, which is a 4-year program after that. And then she'll move into the doctorate program of orthodonture, which is like a specialized school. Cool thing about Gracie is that she went through our intro to health careers and terminology with Miss Horton. You guys might remember her, maybe not. And then moved into the Cascadia Technical Academy dental program, and is a 2-year student in that program, and got placed in an internship at an orthodontics clinic. And her second day they hired her. So she's already working as an intern, like a hired intern in the profession. So she's getting that experience. Yeah, that experience right away. So that's is a wrap. Do you all have any questions?
It's pretty thorough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big program.
Yeah, you do a lot.
Well, I have an amazing set of teachers and and my assistant too. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It is a group effort and it's a labor of love. We are all super duper passionate about the work that we do. And I can't say enough about the teachers that work in this department. They're so dedicated. I mean, it's like, hey, Brent, can we do one more project? Yep, let's do one more project. We'll have the kids design. I mean, it's just, absolutely. So thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I'm sure it varies, but like for some of the students that you showed, and since they participated, how much less time are they gonna have to spend after high school in college? Like, because it's not cheap, every college course, right? So like I look at Gracie and she's what, like 10 years of schooling?
I know, it's a lot. Yeah, it really depends, right? So, and that's what's kind of crazy. Every student's path is a different path. So if they, if they earned, let's say they earned 10 college credits while they were in high school and they use that right away and go right into the same school. I mean, that's however many credits and the cost of those credits that they get to kind of erase, right? And rewrite the new total. We didn't talk about scholarships and all the other things that our students earned and continue to earn. But it varies per student and what their path is, right? So, I mean, Gracie's got plans. She may change her mind. She may get down to, got done with the dental part is like, okay, maybe not an orthodontist. I'll just be a dentist, right? So you never know, but yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you. Yeah, thank you. Great. Okay, next up, we've got resolution 2024-2508, which is our turf transfer. This will be our first reading.
Yes, so I'm wondering if you have any questions about the turf transfer. So this is something that we had been doing every year up until last year. We did not transfer the turf 50,000 from the general fund to the capital project fund, but we'd like to again do it this year. Again, we have turf at the high school, and that turf has a specific number of years that we're able to play on it. We are approaching the end of the life of that turf, but the purpose of this money is to be ready when it's time to replace it. And so we have been doing this for a number of years. And so it's just something that we didn't do last year based on our basically the concerns regarding cash flow in the general fund.
Right.
We're in a better position now, so we'd like to continue.
I move adoption of resolution number 2024-25-08.
So this is
We gotta wait. It's our first reading.
Oh, it's first reading?
Yep. I mean,
Okay.
it looks great.
Appreciate the interest in the approval. We're gonna so at our next meeting
Next meeting for approval. Got it.
All right, next up, we've got,
Yes.
does anybody have questions on that first, I guess? No,
Yeah.
okay. Proposed 2025-26 board meeting schedule. This was also our first reading on our meeting schedule.
Right, so we're looking at the board meetings for next year, and hopefully you have those in front of you. The first one, September 9th, is a work session. Then September 23rd is a regular business meeting. And then as we go through, I want you to look at please October 28th. So we did something a little different with our school program presentations, where we had all of our elementary principals together. And then the next board meeting, we had our secondary principal together. So if that's favorable for you, I'd like to try that again. There's some adjustments we'll make, but I thought that one of the goals was that you would see the presentations the same time. I want our principals to see the presentations, to see each other. So it's somewhat of a professional learning community. And so I think there was some learning that happened as a result of that. And then in the mid-year, it was very similar. So we'd like to do that again. And so then we get those in front of you. And then when we do the site visits, hopefully we'll see in action what you heard in the presentations. So then as we move through the rest of the year, what's highlighted is July because we haven't established a date if we wanted to meet in July. So have a board retreat. And so we're not going to do that this July. We're going to go ahead in August, our first meeting in August. We have time before that, which could be our retreat. We may extend that time a little bit, but for the following year, if we could
Put it into the
consider,
schedule.
yeah.
I think that's a great
in
idea.
July, I'm interested in that.
Yep.
So that is the meeting calendar. So hopefully that looks okay for you. If we go to the next page, we want to include the board listening tour events. So what you'll notice is we have two. So the idea being the fall and then the spring. And if you're open to that, then we'll go with those dates. We have not determined the location yet, but that's something we'll need to do is figure out where we want to have those meetings. We've reduced it. And that is mainly because, we don't get a lot of people attending these, but we typically have a few people. The last one we had, I think, close to 10 were at Bethel. And so
That would be my only thing would be, I feel like we might need to have one early one because I feel like that was our big turnout. Was that earlier one that we had at Bethel?
I mean, earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
So maybe just, I don't know if we can talk about
Yeah.
that or adjust that,
Yeah, we can.
even if we
certainly-
can't all
yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
To have that option for
Yeah.
people that can't come to the later one, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. And that location, maybe see
Yeah.
if we can reserve that location again.
Yeah.
And now maybe that's the one in the spring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check thoughts.
Do we have an election next year? I don't know what the calendar is for levies.
We do.
We might want to
Oh, yeah.
do some intensive listening
Yes.
prior to an
Yeah.
election.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that
Yeah.
at our next executive team meeting. Yeah, thank you. Board site visits. So
I like this.
October 23rd, combining Cape and Canyon, then the high school. And the time is certainly, it can be adjusted. Maybe the afternoon's not the best, right, to see the PLC meeting. So maybe there's a different time that works better. Then February, we're going to combine Gauze and Hathaway because they're very close together.
Yep.
And I like the idea of combining those up.
Me too.
And then JMS and CRG, that worked out really well, I thought.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So questions about the board site visits? Acceptable. And then the board listening tour. Chuck, definitely hear what you're saying about next fall and the opportunities for our community to give us input and feedback.
Yep.
Leading up to the levy. And then the board directors meeting calendar, if that looks okay to you.
Yeah.
Really the big items are the when we do our SIP presentations and then the retreat.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right, on to our next. Okay, listening tour, we just did that. Executive responsibility 13, instructional program.
Yes, so this is one that Tracy worked on, updated and then shared with you. And so wonder if you have any questions regarding the ER 13, specifically to instructional programs. Any questions that you have, any wonders?
On this one.
Nope. Okay.
Looks good. All right. On to executive responsibility 14, instructional materials
Selection. Okay, so this one is also Tracy. And so she updated this document. Wondering if you have any questions regarding instructional materials selection.
When is the next time we're gonna do that? Because there's that update, right? That's
Yes,
happening.
we actually heard about it today on an OSBI call. Michaela Miller talked about math and reading will be updated. So next year really is, we get exposure to the standards. They aren't officially going to be implemented until the following year, so the 26-27 school year. So really good question. One of the things that we're going to be looking at is this curriculum adoption cycle.
Yeah.
When we have standards that are updated, once we look at those standards, and it does take time for publishers to adjust to these standards. We did hear some information about the assessment system and whether that will be updated or not. And so, yeah, so really for the first time, we became aware that when they'll be available to us, and the plan would be to expose our teams, our PLC teams specifically in our buildings to the standards. And we need to work on developing our implementation plan. So back to, yes, so when will we be adopting? And what we're noticing with OSBI is they are providing resources to us that are, there in some cases they're free, open source curriculum. So we appreciate that, especially when it's aligned to the standards that we are responsible for our students are learning. So.
And it should be that this coming year, so 25, 26, we'll really focus on the training for teachers. So once we get our hands on the document, we'll be able to, if we can get that before our August PD days, we'll be able to look at what the difference is between Common Core and what we already have, and then what some of the new updated. They don't expect them to change tremendously, but we also found out today that the assessment, so our state standardized test will not change this coming year. So
initially.
yes.
Yeah, we're not, yeah.
So the curriculum is going to change, but the test won't?
So the standards,
Okay.
yeah, so the standards, the curriculum, and then the assessment. So instructional materials that we use to present the standards.
Okay, they'll be in 2 years.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
I know that took a minute. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, but the system that we use for the assessments, I don't know right now, we are privy to what's the long-term plan with the assessment system.
So I guess
Good
my other
question.
question is, with Tracy leaving, who will be responsible?
That is a really good question. Yes,
She's
so.
not leaving. She
So-
didn't know. She doesn't get to leave. There's new stuff coming.
Yeah, so.
Just needed another word.
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. So we've actually been working on, we've met with our building administrators, within an executive team, we've talked about responsibilities that Tracy has had and looking what everyone has. When we met with our building principals, we said, here's a table with specific areas that Tracy was really responsible for. And are you interested in any of these? So we gave them editing rights. And so this opportunity for them to populate the table, and it has multiple columns. So it has columns for district office leadership and then building leadership. And so we're working on it right now. And so a number of us have curriculum background. So we it isn't as if this isn't information that we've we're strangers to, that this is something that both of us and I have curriculum degrees or masters. And so that is something that we feel comfortable with, but it's going to be a team effort. We are really excited about principals being involved, and then down the road, teacher leaders assisting with us. So as we look at professional development in August and we just recently asked our building leaders to work with their staff and determining what level of professional development are you looking for.
Yeah.
And so we did receive some feedback through the strategic planning process where there's maybe some concerns, some challenges with the way we've been presenting professional development. So we are leaning into that. We're trying to figure out what is it that they're looking for. And so we are in the planning stages for next year. And so we have 4 days in August that are really important days where our teachers are coming back, staff are coming back. And then throughout the year, we have a variety of meetings that we get access to each week. And so we have limited time with our teachers. It's professional development. We also look at the PLC time. It's 40 minutes. Early release every Wednesday is also a collaborative time. It's very important. And time that way we can look at standards, analyze standards, get to know those standards, see the difference. What they describe what we currently have up against what the new ones, the changes, right? And so we're hoping they aren't drastically different because we didn't work. We've been focusing on scope and sequence for every course recently, so we're excited about that work. So back to your question, it's going to be a team effort. And we're working through it right now, but it will include our building administrators.
in the teachers.
And yeah, the idea
Okay,
of,
so
yeah,
then they'll
that-
have-
yep, incorporating, yeah, and working
Because
with
I
our
have
teachers.
heard that just personally, I've heard a few teachers say that they would like to be more
Yes.
part of,
Yeah.
the curriculum.
Yep, and so we started with asking, and we,
Not
said-
all
yeah,
of them
I think we
do,
also
but-
pushed out the form. We've done a form for determining what level of
Right.
PD they're looking for, what type of PD, what they want to focus on. We'd have items they could choose. This time we said, principals, we facilitate this. And actually, I think David Cook had one of his teachers facilitate the gathering of what do we want our PD to look like.
All right.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
We are on to policy 6,000 series review.
Yes, okay, so I think you probably noticed when you looked at this, this is 5 new policies, 16 updated policies.
Yeah.
So Shalice had a lot to do with this. Shalice said, listen, I'm interested in us looking at the 6,000 series, which is where she spends a lot of time in the 6,000 series. And she said, can we take on the 6,000 series? There's a number of policies that I think we should add, and definitely some revisions. So that's what we have here. And so this is the management support series, operational and financial management, guidance for budgeting, purchasing, transportation, management, nutrition. So a variety of very important policies and procedures. So there's a lot of information here. And we would not be presenting this information to you if we didn't think it was necessary. The idea of updating these policies on a schedule is really what we're hoping to do. I don't think anyone here has been a part of where we've adopted a series before, but this is something that the district has done before. And so again, we rely on WSD model policies. We don't make revisions to these policies unless we have vetted it with our attorney typically. And I know, Chuck, you had a question, some specific language about one of them, so I'll follow up with Shalice on that. I gave a chance today to follow up with her, but we'll talk about kind of what your question is. So I'm looking forward. You have an opportunity to look at this. I think it's really helpful for us to have our policies and procedures updated. It's a lengthy process. Corey has done a lot of work with taking what WSDA provides us and then putting it into our format. And then Shalice has gone through, I've gone through and reviewed these changes. And so again, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think it's helpful. Okay, any questions so far?
I was just like, I know, so I was reading, like, I didn't know the ASB fund is it really maintained by the county treasurer? I guess when Shalice is here.
Yes, yeah, so so she will be at our next meeting and can give you, if you have some specific questions about.
Okay.
I can appreciate that she went through this and has noted that we need these updates.
Mhm.
A lot of good work went into.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
True. I would like to offer a suggestion for you to examine. That is on the workers' comp policy. Workers' comp protects employees who are injured on the job, and it also protects the district. Because an employee is injured, their only recourse is through workers' comp as opposed to filing a $1 billion lawsuit. And our policy covers employees. I would like to have you consider the people that are referees and umpires at our sporting events who are not employees, but who can sustain injuries on the job. And sometimes those people are employed by the league, and sometimes they are not covered by workers' comp, in which case, if it happens to be on our field, then we may be.
Thank you. Yeah, the level of liability. So yeah, so we will, I'll work with Brian. I'll start with Brian to see of all of our officials, and maybe basketball. Maybe it could be just a Clark County organization.
We want to make sure that those folks are covered.
Yeah.
The other classification of people is volunteers. Volunteers can get injured at our school.
Yep.
And if they're covered by workers' comp, then there's provision for them to incur their injuries and costs thereof. But it also means then that they cannot sue the district. So if we have a dad who's out on a ladder to work on a playground structure and falls and loses 2 weeks, and we're that's a broken leg.
Yeah,
He covers that. So I'd like to take a look at volunteers. The premium on volunteers is very, very low. But
thank you.
it's
Okay.
a protection for them and for us.
Yep, we will look at that, and that scenario you just came up with was just fictitious. The volunteer on the ladder, right?
Yeah. That would never,
That was just a, yeah, it would never be allowed.
I never
I
stepped.
had it happen.
Oh, okay, yeah, but not in this district, you got another district, yeah. Yeah, thank you, I appreciate that, and we definitely will, so those 2 items, I'll follow up with. So it wasn't fictitious, it was actually something that,
Just not in our district.
yes, yeah, got it. Thank you, appreciate that. Interesting, injuries on ladders or people standing on things they shouldn't stand on.
I have some metal from a ladder,
Yeah,
not in this district.
Yeah.
Also had an umpire who was hit by a ball and died. And was not going
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Well, these things do happen.
No, absolutely. So that one, yeah, so we'll definitely will follow up on what is how are our officials protected?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, great. And then the other one regarding the should, we'll follow up with you on that one. The other one you emailed me about. Yeah, language about, should or, yeah. Okay,
Is that it, guys? Don't think we have anything else.
you heard the applause and the cheers.
Thank
right?
you.
That's
Somebody just
girl.
got a big hit.
Softball right there. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. We are adjourning at 8:06.
Thank you.